Today, I'm going to be showing you how I made this cute little pup tart. I started by creating a foil armature and smacked it with a roller. Ow. You'll know you're doing it right if you hit your hand in the process. After covering the foil in thin sheets of clay, I added an extra layer on top so I could cut out the opening of the toaster. I've been told that blending my clay is pretty mesmerizing, so here's some shots of that. I used an acrylic stamping block to flatten the sides. Then I used an X-Acto knife to cut out the opening and scooped out the guts. I created a little slit for the button thingy. What do you even call this? As I'm editing this, I realized I messed up. The pup tart is going to be popping out of the toaster, so the button thingy should have been at the top. Ugh, time to throw it in the blender. I don't know where the footage of me making the pop tart went, but I used a circle cutter to take a bite out of it. Then I used a stiff bristle brush to give it some texture. If you're wanting to make some baked goods at home, you can also use an old toothbrush, but please wash it first. Or not. I don't know. I'm not your mom. But anyways, next I used a dotting tool to create the little dots on the edges of the pop tart. Then I took some blurry footage of me texturing it with a needle tool. And of course, what would a Pop-Tart be without the iconic filling? Then I made a teardrop shape for the ear and popped it on. Get it? Because it's a Pop-Tart. Then I used my favorite tool, that I don't know the name of, to indent a mouth. And then I added a tongue to make it extra derpy. I wanted that stereotypical cartoony W shape to it, so I used my needle tool to sculpt that out. Then I booped on the snoot. Next, I rolled out some ovals for the eyes and popped those on. Okay, I'll stop with that one. I baked the pup tart in the toaster so I wouldn't squish anything, and then I used some liquid clay to pop on some arms. Dang it, I said pop again. Listen, you're watching a channel where I make puns, so you know there's gonna be corny jokes. If you couldn't tell from the pencil markings, this is going to be the iconic wild berry pop tart. I primed the whole thing with white before I started painting it in a light dough color. I let the paint dry for a little bit, but not all the way, and then used a fluffy makeup brush to tickle the edges of the Pop-Tart to give it that baked look. I outlined the edges of the frosting first with a teeny tiny brush, and then used the paint-by-number skills I acquired during the pandemic to fill in the rest. I had to redo the pencil markings that I lost when I painted it purple, and then I painted the blue swirls on. I'll speed it up for those with a short attention span like mine. Next, I painted in the brains. Just kidding, it's the jelly, but I guess in this case it is the brains, or lack thereof. Originally I was gonna make a pink tongue, but then I thought it'd be cute to have it be the same color as the innards. Next, I painted on the soulless black eyes. Just kidding, I'll put a soul on them later. Can't forget the snoot. Ah, there's that soul. Even the snoot gets a soul. Onto the toaster, which I primed white and then painted pink. Then I added on some silver accents. I painted this silver circle on the front, which I'm going to add my logo to using water slide decals. Before this step, I spray varnished the toaster so the paint wouldn't bleed, and I spray varnished the paper before cutting out the logo to make sure that ink wouldn't bleed. I then submerged the logo cutout in warm water for 30 seconds, applied it to the toaster, and slid out the backing, hence the name water slide decal. It's not as fun as it sounds, but it gives a pretty cool effect. I used a clear water slide decal paper, but they also sell them in white. It's time to stick our pup tart into the toaster, and we're done. Let's see some glamour shots.